What up? It's 1-2. I'm here with a new video, trying to explain to you guys how my team went from being complete bots to being #1 in Sham Squads FNPL. Squads is kind of a dead game mode, not gonna lie, but we destroyed, and I'm gonna try to tell you guys how to do the same, basically, so you guys can get #1 in champs. So first off, a little bit about me, so you guys don't think I'm giving out bad advice, which all right. Anyway, I got #1 in champs with 30 points. Which is more points than the top team in Open and top team in Inter got. I'm in the private Discord's PSL Pro Scrim League, Endgame Private, and FNPL tournaments, so I have the FNPL Pro role. I also played in the very, very old West Pro Cord a long time ago, which is how I started scrimming and how I, met a bunch of people who taught me a bunch. I play in the PSL Duo League and the Tier 1 Endgame Duo League. And actually, I got intermediate duos, so I'm going to be in intermediate duos FNPL this season. I don't know how I got I don't know. I'll take it, though. So I've experience playing in FNPL Open Scrims and experience playing in pro lobbies, so I know the difference. I went from being a bot to considered a pro by FNPL standards. I've gotten my VODs reviewed by many different people, including Convertible, which is how I got into Endgame Private and how I passed trials. And I've also VOD reviewed for a bunch of different teams and duos and tried to help them out. So yeah, I have experience VOD reviewing, I guess. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna get into the video. Hopefully I don't give you guys bad advice, but here is my advice to you guys. So first things first, get a good drop location. Many teams like to have a specific spot they like to drop every single game. I don't think this is the best strategy. It's just way too risky. Like, what if five teams end up contesting you? What if you get a scuff drop and you're forced to take a 50-50 with an enemy? There's just a lot of things that can go wrong, and especially in squads, there's a ton of uncontested drop locations that are good drop locations if you just can watch where people are dropping and find that spot that's uncontested. Like the amount of times my team gets whaling uncontested or retail uncontested or paradise uncontested is just crazy, especially for champ squads. So just being aware and taking advantage of those opportunities that you get will give you a huge advantage in the game. So I have a small clip of my team doing the strat that I will walk you guys through. So right in the beginning, we watch the back of the bus. We see where teams are going. We see, is there only one team going towards the desert biome? Is there only two teams going towards the snow biome? A lot of times there will be places that are clustered with a lot of people and lots of spots that are, no teams are going to. And right here, we're looking at the back of the bus. We see there's only 2 teams going towards the desert area. I only really see 1 team stretching far desert area. So we're thinking Paradise is a good option. We're thinking maybe Westworld. I don't know. I'm checking out Racetrack. I think Racetrack might be clear, but as I get further down and I pull out my parachute, I see there's a team actually going towards Racetrack. So I sort of go more towards Paradise. My team's kind of calling out that Paradise looks clear, so I kind of fully commit here. I dive down. I really can't go anywhere else but Paradise at this point, so I'm committing to Paradise. We see 2 other people coming towards Paradise, but we scare them off actually, and we end up getting all of Paradise Palms in Champ Squad League for free, all to ourselves. It's an insane. So basically the strat is to watch the back of the bus, see where people are going, go towards the spots that are the least clustered. If you don't really find anywhere that's least clustered, you're looking, you don't really see a spot that people aren't going, then just sort of drop towards, a place with a lot of POIs, like the northeast corner. Then pull your parachute a little bit early, see where teams are going, Team Tomato, a Team Whaling, a Team Shipments. Oh, there's no one going lonely. See where people are going, see which spots are uncontested, look at all the spots, and then commit to the spot that's uncontested. And a lot of times, if you do this correctly, if you work on this, if you practice this strategy, you will be able to find really good spots that are uncontested like almost every single time. It's a really good strat. But on to the next point. Second point, mid-game positioning. Mid-game positioning is huge. It's super important. It's one of the mistakes I see teams make all the time. Just poor mid-game positioning, and it's sad, and it's really easy. You just got to be aware, and you got to work on it. So I'm gonna teach you guys. Well, I'm gonna try to show you guys how to sort of learn how to get mid-game positioning, sort of like get better at it. So mid-game positioning is important for staying out of danger. It's important for not getting snuck up on. It's important for safely getting mats, getting free rotations slash not costly endgame rotations, and for putting yourself in a good spot to win the game, basically. Mid-game positioning is huge. It's super situational. I can't really give specific advice here. You guys just need to work on it yourself. I will give some tips on how to get better at it. Um, so some tips are you want to position yourself away from teams. So that could mean scouting out where teams are using a plane or something, or it could mean just looking at the circle and seeing where you think teams are going to be and going towards the spot where teams aren't going to be. I just moved my camera. Anyway, so if an edge of the map is in the circle, usually the edges of the maps are where the least amount of teams will be. So if you need like mats and mansion or racetrack is in, those could be very good spots. I don't know. It's very situational. Other times it's best to go for the middle of the circle. If there's like 3 big mountains in the zone, you might want to get a mountain. You definitely want to get a mountain. You know, Other times, it really depends. But basically, the best tip I can give you is to always be aware of your positioning and always try to have good positioning. And if you end up getting snuck up on, or you end up fighting like you get in a dog pile with like 3 other teams, then you could like look at your positioning and you could be like, okay, we did not have the best mid game positioning. What can we do better next time? Just learn from it and all that stuff. So I have a small clip of how my team sort of got good mid game positioning and how we ended up winning the game because of our mid game positioning right here. So I'll get into it. Okay, so as you can see from the map, we did not get the circle, but we have an airplane, so it's okay. There's a few markers going down. We're thinking racetrack looks good. There's a little high ground area in the center of the map. We're thinking that could look good. Now we're just going to go scout out, see where all the teams are, and where we want to end up taking. We end up taking a mountain at like the south edge of the zone that we see no one's on, and from the mountain we're able to scout out where all the teams are. Since it is a small league lobby, it's the minimum of 6 teams in this lobby, which is very not a very good practice game. But anyway, we end up taking this mountain. It probably would have been contested if it was a bigger lobby, but we get this mountain for free, and we're able to scout out the whole entire circle. We're able to see everything. From here, we end up actually getting a free rotation to next circle, and then we end up taking high ground and winning this game. I'll show you guys more of that later. But third point, high ground. High ground, high ground, high ground, high ground, high ground. High ground is super important. Also being aggro with your positioning, but I'm going to explain that in detail in a different video. So in league, high ground is going to be super important, especially squad league. Dual league, it doesn't matter too much, but squad league, high ground is super important. So why it's so important, the best way to explain is because there's usually multiple squads left in the last zone because it is league and because everyone's going for that placement, the top 2 placement. So there's going to be multiple teams left in the last circle, and the last circle is going to force the mid ground teams and the low ground teams to kind of clash, to fight. And so the high ground team usually has an easy cleanup and will usually easily win the game. So that's why high ground is important. And if you want to become dominant in your league, from open to champs, high ground is the key. Seriously, high ground is a key. you can win without high ground for sure if you play it correctly, but a lot of times just high ground, it's easy. Like just play high ground. It's freaking easy, man. Like you'll learn how to play high ground if you just try a couple times. Like seriously. So hopefully I convince you guys why high ground is important in squads especially. And so I'm going to go over some ways on how to take high ground so you guys can learn about that. Okay, anyway, let's do it. So the first way is by getting on top of a mountain in like the 3rd, 4th, or 5th zone, and then just praying for circle. A lot of times you'll end up getting circle. I swear, my team gets circle all the time when we have a mountain. Like it's crazy, and we end up just winning from there. In this clip I'm showing you right now, we end up not getting zone. So just pretend we got zone on that mountain, and now we have high ground over everyone. It's crazy. We win. GG, honestly. But we didn't get zone here. So here it brings me to my second point on how to get high ground. So it's a nice segue, but here is by getting to like the half circle and then building up and just taking high ground. Right here, we get to the half zone. We see there's someone who already built up and who's trying to get high ground. So I rocket them down. I take high ground from them. I connect to them. It's, now we have high ground in the half circle. No one's contesting. I think we keep high ground for the rest of the game. I think we lose it towards the end, but we gain it back right away. So here is the third way. And I think it's actually in the same game, but basically we were second to highest. There was only one team above us, and then we shot them down and we took high ground from them. A lot of times in this strat, this strat is best if you have an RPG or explosives. And it's good to coordinate with your team. So one person is shooting RPGs up and shooting the team down, while one person is building up and securing that high ground. You can have like 2 people shooting, 2 people getting high ground, 3 people getting high ground, 1 person shooting. Coordinate with your team. All right, so I didn't realize this video was so long. I'm at like 12 minutes here. I'm at like past 12 minutes. So I'm just going to cut it here, make this a part 1, make a part 2 later. Also, watch out for another high ground video, because me talking about high ground there was just kind of scuffed, and I just didn't have enough time to say what we needed to say and expand on all my points. So I'm going to make another high ground video on how to take high ground, why it's important, all that stuff. And then there's going to be a part 2 to this video on the stuff I didn't cover, the 3rd and 4th tip, or the 4th and 5th tip. But anyway, I'm going to just end it there, stop talking. Make sure to add me on Epic, VeggieBoy_12. I have the best deathmatch maps NA. Join my deathmatches. I swear to God, it's lit. All right, I'm going to stop talking. Bye.